My sister and I are very close, and she was one of these people that called me up one day and said, "Can you manifest a partner for me?" And I said, "Well, if I knew how to manifest a partner, I would manifest one for myself." So I said, look, we'll manifest together. And we wrote out.
You create your own reality.
Well, that's interesting because we have very entangled energy and we call each other twinsies. We're not twins, but things seem to happen at the same time for the both of us that are very similar. And so I was in Dallas in May for my 40th birthday on Cinco de Mayo, and my sister came to visit me from Oregon. And my dad was a fireman, and she met a fireman that night. And now she's moving to Dallas. They're getting married and having babies. And I'm like, did the universe get confused with my manifestation because we're so connected? And then when
Really?
No, really. Because, no, really.
Really?
Because then fast forward, she comes to Dallas, and she was visiting, I guess, like 2 weeks ago. And we were at the American Airlines Center in a suite that I manifested for free, a $20,000 suite that just was given to me. And she's like, here, you're doing it again. People just hand you these wonderful things. And so she said, now I'm going to manifest a man for you. You need to think about a man who's going to say, when are you free for dinner? I want to take you out. It has to be mature and appropriate and healthy. And so what do you think happens? A man comes into the suite and he says to me, I'd like to take you to dinner. Let me know when you're free. And those are my sister's words. Like, I didn't even ask for that to happen. So I'm interested to know if you can sort of co-create with someone else and do this dance along the way, or did she speak the words that I was, like, my internal compass was focused on?
Well, some of all of that. And of course, we're having fun with you when we say you create your own reality, but you really do. No one else can offer a vibration for you. Others certainly can influence your vibration, but it is not a good idea to put your creation in the hands of someone else or to take the responsibility of being the creator of someone else. Certainly, it's fun to co-create together. You see, we've been saying for a while that one who is in the receptive mode, when you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, you have so much more leverage. This creative energy, which is available to all when you're wide open and it's flowing through you, especially when you know it is, especially when you expect it to, then you don't get in the way. You don't introduce resistance into it. So there's a case to be made that you could believe in anyone. Someone could convince you that they had the ability to create for you. And if you really believed that they had the ability to create for you, then you would use that as your reason to expect more on your own behalf. It's all about your response to everything. You see what we're getting at? The reason that we are playful and teasing about things like this is because we think it is so important to accept your own ability to create your own reality. And what so many people do with one another is they are replacing their connection with their inner being with other people, which is not a stable connection. Most people are looking for approval from other humans who are around them. They're looking for validation or appreciation from them. And in the process, they wean themselves away from where their true source of power is and their true source of clarity is, and they accept a substitute that is far inferior to that. And then they think that's a good idea because it seems productive in some ways or fun in some ways. And we're just a little stubborn about not really encouraging that. Of course, you do not create someone else's reality. But there is also something to say about the power of focus. And that's the other reason that we were teasing with you a little bit, because we never talk about the power of no because there isn't one. If you've been listening to us for a while, you don't hear us guiding you toward or away from anything. What we want to do is help you to understand how the system works and to be consciously aware of what you're asking for and line up with what you're asking for and then notice it as it is in the process of becoming. That's how you discover your true empowerment. But we are not those who say no to anything. And as sure as we said, no more conversation about death, the very next person who came to the chair demonstrated the very point that there is no such thing as no. All it does is activate something and add momentum to it and take it further, you see. Well, that's what goes on when you're playing with other friends. You add momentum to one another. Every thought that has ever been thought still exists. And when you focus on a thought and activate it within yourself, it's logical that law of attraction would bring to you, and this is what you were asking, bring to you others who are similar in the vibration that you're offering. And so that's why co-creating is such a fun thing. We just don't want you ever to give anyone the impression that you have power over their experience, or let anyone else give you the impression that they have power over your experience, because everything that you've been asking for is on its way to you. And it really is what influences are causing you to relax and allow. Did you follow that? We're going to say it again because we really want you to hear it. Everything that everyone wants is on the way to them. To the degree that they are allowing it, they are seeing evidence, momentum, and results. So the factor that you all have conscious control over is the allowing factor, the believing factor. And that's what you do for one another through the clarity of your own example or through the encouragement that you give one another. You help to sometimes improve someone's expectation about something. Focus upon the subject is what attracts it. Consider the concept. Just think about thoughts being in the air, like the radio signals are in the air. And then think about what you may be tuning your thoughts to. And then watch how the universe will deliver to you evidence of the thoughts that are active within you. It's a really good process to help you to feel the power of your own focus. Last weekend, we held a gathering similar to this. And at dinner the night before, Esther was visiting with all of her wonderful staff who moves around with her. There were a lot of them at 2 tables, and they had a lot of conversations going. And it wasn't easy to even know everything that was going on. It was a very loud room with lots of reverberation. And so Esther was focusing and listening and focusing and listening. And one of the conversations that sort of went by that she sort of heard was a conversation about a particular bat cave in a tunnel not far from where she lives in Texas. And she just sort of heard it go by. She didn't acknowledge any interest in it whatsoever. She wasn't even trying to figure out where it was. She didn't think about it before or after. She only heard about it. But the next day, a friend asked her if she'd like to just go for a ride. And suddenly she's sitting in that parking lot with that sign of that bat cave. And she thought, you were nowhere near this conversation. Nobody talked to you about this. How did we end up at the bat cave? And we say, thoughts and bats are in the air. Thoughts are in the air. So we're wanting to remind Esther and all of you that a soft and gentle focus with no resistance produces nearly instantaneous results. A soft and gentle focus. We really want you to hear this. It's not the softness or the gentleness of the focus that gives you nearly instant manifestation. It's the absence of resistance. It's the absence of resistance. It's the absence of contradictory thought. You following? The reason that we are saying to you soft and gentle focus is because those things you really care about, you have ground them into the ground. And in the process, you've thought about them so much that you've introduced a lot of resistance to the process. So your introduction of resistance is the problem, which you usually don't do if it's soft and gentle focus. Now, it's way more fun to have strong, deliberate focus with no resistance, because then you've got all kinds of evidence and all kinds of momentum and all kinds of things showing up. So it's easier for you to think about a relationship relative to someone else than it is about yourself. And same for your friend. In other words, that's the reason that some of that crossover stuff is happening. And in your playfulness about it, we really do not believe. In fact, we know for sure that you don't believe that somebody else is creating in your reality. We don't think that that was a question that you were really asking at all. We think that the question that you were asking is, why does it appear to be that way? It isn't anything that I know to be. It isn't anything that I believe to be. And we want you to feel it's because there was a softer and a more gentle focus upon something that is important to you. And in the process of that, you lowered your resistance. And in the lowering of resistance, something that you want is flowing into your experience. These things that you want would be consistently giving you evidence in your experience if you were not consistently thinking about them in a way that will not let them in. And why do you consistently think about what you want in a way that doesn't let them in? Because you are so enamored with the reality of what is. What is contradicts what is becoming. If what is doesn't contain what you're asking for, your attention to what is a contradiction to what you want much of the time. When you start getting movement, it's because for some reason resistance is lower. When you stop getting movement, it's because for some reason resistance is higher. You've just got to pay attention to what you're thinking about, to how you're feeling, you see. And we're trying to get you to let yourself across the board have a big advantage by saying to you, what is old news. And if you could stop making so much reference to what is and to how it's been and to how long it's been there and to those things, then you would stop your conversations about resistance. In short, what we're really saying to you is you are offering a lot of conversation that is resistant in nature and you don't even know you're doing it. But you know how to know you're doing it? If what you want isn't coming. If you're not getting movement on something, it always means the same thing. You've got resistant conversation going on, and when you cut that out, you'll get movement. So anytime that you can be more playful. Esther was talking to someone the other day who was struggling with finances. And Esther talked about a game that we offered that's called the columnar pad. It's in the back of the Ask and It Is Given book. And it's a process where you just make a list of everything that you owe month by month, with the largest payment being on the far left column and the smallest payment being on the far right column. And as you get it all laid out where you can see it, where you're acknowledging it, and then you make a statement to yourself. I keep my word to all of my responsibilities, all my creditors. And in some cases, I do twice as much as I'm expected to do. So then that smallest payment over there, $12 or whatever it is, pay it twice this month. And feel the relief of having said you would do something and doing it. And then watch, and you will see it, that, and here's the key word, because you have turned finances into a game instead of a responsibility, your energy will shift. And just the fact that you're now playing a game means you're going to let more money in than you were before. And when the money comes, you're going to whittle away those columns until you have less going out. And what you will notice is more money will begin to come. It will come from places that you didn't even know it was stuck in your vibrational craw. More will begin to come. All kinds of money things will begin loosening up. Things like you were describing. Gifts will be given to you. Advantages will be given to you. Debts will be forgiven. All kinds of things. Your outgo will become less. Your income will become more. Because you've been asking for it for a long time. And it's all in the pipeline. It's all in the works. And just the simple act of playing a game about money instead of feeling that uncomfortable feeling when you get your mail from your mailbox, or that feeling of not wanting to open it because you don't want to face it, you will have shifted the way you feel about it. And this is what we're talking about here. Anything that causes you to shift the way you feel about what is happening in your present life experience will allow your present life experience to morph into more of what you have been asking for. It's powerful. And so it's really fun as you more deliberately think about things and they manifest in your experience, or they show up in one way or another. How often do you say to someone, I can't believe it. I was just talking about that. Haven't thought about that in 10 years. Was just talking about it yesterday. And here we're having the conversation about it again. Well, that's not coincidence. That's not chance. That's not a lucky thing. That's thoughts are in the air. That's thoughts are in the air and you're in the receptive mode. And the same way that you received that thought and then you received that experience, anything and everything that you care about is coming to you in the same way, you see. So it's all good. It's all good. The more you acknowledge the positive aspects of what's coming to you, the more of them will come.